Hello, welcome to Miniature Realms. My name's Stuart, and today we're going to find out if the A-Case is the best army transportation out there.
Miniature Realms is proudly sponsored by Counter-Attack Bases. They stock a wide range of counters, gaming aids and movement trays for multiple game systems, and offer custom items to suit your club, your event, or even your podcast or YouTube channel. Check out the link in the video description.
Well, now that you can all see me, I'll explain what this is about. A few months back, I purchased a hard figure case that had trays that were metal so I could put my armies in once they've been magnetized, and I did a bit of review on it, and it was cheap in my mind for that kind of case. I think at the moment on Amazon they're under £100, and the review was seen by lots of different people. Many people said I've got them, some people said they weren't very good, some people said they were still really expensive. I guess we all look at different things. Some people will put their own magnetic sheeting in really useful boxes, and that's great as well. There are so many different ways to transport your army, and you go with the one that you like. So I'm not going to preach to anyone today. But anyway, I did this review. I used the case a couple of times, and I thought it was fine. It wasn't the prettiest thing in the world. It was a little bit bulky, and I didn't purchase the backpack for it. I just stuck it in the boot of my car. And very recently, I had a comment on that video, and you can see here from Alexander or Olo of A-Case, and basically to say that he'd sent me an email and offered me the chance to review an A-Case. An A-Case I mentioned in that previous review video as the kind of the expensive top of the range option, which at that time I wasn't looking to spend that much money. Now obviously Olo or Alexander was like, hey, you really need to see my case to see how good it is, and maybe you wouldn't have spent the £100 mark when you could see the quality of this. I'm a small one-man band business, it's built its way up. Please take one of my cases and review it. So of course I wasn't going to turn down the opportunity to do that, and here's what I think of the case. So let's head over to the A-Case website and actually see which case I chose, and he did let me choose which I need. I didn't choose the most expensive, but it was edging towards there, and I wanted to pick something that reflected the kind of size I had in that other case, but also will work with Old World armies, with so many of you viewers being a fan of Old World like I am. And I chose the Kane, which starts at £285, and with the 3 extra trays it'd be £318, which I didn't add, by the way, although included them in the package. So it came really super quick, UPS all the way from Poland. Let's get in the box and find out what's inside. Now, everything's extremely well packaged and very tightly packaged inside, and there was no damage to anything. You get some super glue and some magnets included in there as well to get you started, and you can add magnets on. Loads and loads and loads of the cellophane here to keep it all tightly packed, and these are the top and bottom of the inside frame. These are the sides, and then you have this larger area which is the back of the case as well, which you just slot all these together. You'll see in a moment. And this is the bag itself, which is obviously flat at that time, but super padded, really thick inside, and then the frame fits in afterwards. You also get these pins and little bands, which I'll come back to shortly. Now, there are no instructions in the box whatsoever, but a quick look at the website, you can see there's 2 links very clearly, one assembly guide and one's how to use those little bands and pins, and they're really simple but really easy to follow instructions of how to go about doing it. So I quickly watched the 2 videos, and I didn't need to watch them again. It was really easy, and I went straight over and I was able to build the case without any issues whatsoever. So if you do purchase one, do go and have a quick look at those. But as you can see here, everything goes together super easy. You've got your big back plate, and you've got your top and your bottom. So you start with the bottom. Sorry about the focus, and I get my ugly shoulder in the way. And you clip your sides on one by one, and then the lid on top, and you're kind of away you go. That's all that there is really to it.
After that, it's just a matter of putting the frame in the bag. The bag then holds it all tight. It's fairly tight as it is anyway, but you don't need to screw it together because the bag holds it all in place. It's a tight squeeze, but not so tight that it's impossible to get in. There's no swearing involved. You can see me in the entire process of squeezing it in the bag there. So it goes in easy enough. Then after that, it's a matter of standing it upright and starting to put the trays in, which again just slide in relatively easily. Just got to line up the two sides and in they go. You can't get them in the wrong way round because you've got the little lips where the pins hit on the front, so they won't go in the wrong way round. There is a little bit of choice about which way up they go, I think. I've gone with the sort of beveled sides on the top there, so it looks smoother. I'm guessing you could have them the other way up, so if anything does come loose, it doesn't fall off the tray. I don't know which way round it's supposed to go. I didn't try it the other way up with the pins in, but yeah, if you're not going to use the pins, you could definitely put them up both ways. And here is that section with the pins. You've got this little band that you push through the hole really simply, and then push through itself and pull tight, and then you grab the pin and effectively do the same thing. So push that through the little eye hole on the pin, then push it back on itself, and then it's attached both ends, just the way you'd attach two elastic bands together or something like that. It's not tricky at all, and what you've seen there is very much what's just on that instruction video. And then you can push it in the little hole at the side and it just locks your tray into place. And after that, they're fairly secure. And obviously, with the bag zipped up, you don't need it. I think the idea is that if you have all your miniatures on the tray and they're not locked in and someone was to knock your bag forward slightly, the trays could then slide out and then your miniatures could come crashing out, and that won't happen. But it all zips up fine, and I think it's a very pretty looking thing. It looks nice. The quality feels absolutely fantastic so far, and there's loads and loads of pockets, which we'll explore in a moment. You can zip away the back strap and have an over-the-shoulder strap as well. And without the extra 3 trays, it's 4.4 kilograms. So you're going to be edging up to around the 5 kilogram mark, maybe 5.5 with your miniatures in. So not super light, but then also not too much to carry either. And as you can see, a 6-year-old can carry an empty bag, and so can a 10-year-old. So by those standards alone, we are fine with it. But let's explore it a little bit more and get some miniatures in it and see how it all works. So you've got to check the height. This is with all the trays in. I'm trying to work out the general height of a Games Workshop miniature and whether they would be too tall to have a tray in every slot, and I think they probably would, but smaller scales you could get absolutely loads of stuff in there. And these are the same miniatures that I put in that other bag that have been magnetized to go in, and they fit in fairly easily. I did notice that the tank, the magnets I put on it weren't the strongest, so I wouldn't tip that upside down, whereas on the other trays, because it fitted more flush than the other bag, they would hold it, and that's partly because of the slightly textured surface on these trays. I think that makes it easier to pull them off without damaging your miniatures. It's just more about how I've magnetized the tank rather than the trays themselves, but they fit in fairly well, and you're going to get absolutely loads of troops on these larger trays. I think you can get easily 8 25 or 28 mil bases deep. As you can see here, you can also fit really large miniatures in. Whether you're going to get anything else in there, probably not, but you could do it. My lantern will probably go in a separate box always, but more realistically, you can get Miao Ying and another big base on the bottom, and then easily have enough space for the rest of a whole old world army, maybe 3,000 points, if not more. It obviously depends on how many infantry and things you have, but I think you can get an awful lot in here, and I think most tournament goers going away with a 2,000 point army would have no problems getting it all in this one case, which is ideally what you would want. And you can see I'm squeezing those bits in. There's even an extra tray in there with some stuff I'm working on for my Jade Fleet expansions to Marienburgers. So if you pause there, you could probably guess what some future videos may be that are coming up on the channel. But the pockets, which can obviously be easily overlooked, really impressed me. These side pockets you think might be small. That's the whole old world rule book shoved in one side, and my shoulder's in the way here, but on the other side, whole forces of Ravening Hordes and then forces of fantasy. Well, I'm just going to chuck that in the big pouch at the front there, which is absolutely huge, and I can chuck in my match player's guide easily as well, and I'll need the Cathay book And if I'm running J Fleet, well, I need the other Cathay book. And you get the idea. There's just so much space in there, room for even more. So if you're heresy player and you need to take a couple of Libras and the main rule book, so I can squeeze my dice box in there as well. And there again, there's still room for even more in there. There's another little pouch at the side here, so I can get my tape measure and my templates in there. It's just huge, and I could easily squeeze more in all those pockets. And with all that in there, it's not super light, but it's not uncomfortable either. I've carried far more weight, and if you're going away to an event, you're going to have to carry this stuff anyway, and it definitely all fits in.
Well, there we are. That's the case shown in all its glory. And I'll be honest with you, it is absolutely fantastic. There's two really clear things about this case versus the one that I showed previously, versus maybe using something like a really useful box with magnetic sheeting in. They can all do the job, absolutely, and different people have different budgets. And I know there will be comments on this video saying, how much? That's really expensive. And we all have to choose where we spend our hobby dollar and whether a case like this is a worthwhile investment. And for some people it really, really will be. If you go to events monthly, or you're going to your club every week and you're transporting your miniatures, then spending this amount of money on protecting those miniatures that you spend hours and hours and hours painting may well be worth it. Now you may well say, yes, I can protect them just as well with my really useful box, and maybe you can, and I would never dispute that. But this is a very nice thing. The backpack is very comfortable. All those extra pockets and things that I showed are very, very practical as well. It reminds me a little bit, going back many, many years, when battle foam first really became popular, and they were the first kind of prestige bag out there, and at that time it felt like you could only buy those plastic boxes that Games Workshop made, or KR cardboard cases, all of which have their place and are very good, by the way. But I remember when I got my first battle foam case, the bag felt excellent quality, and they talked a lot about that, and they sold on the prestige of their bag construction, and this feels like that from a case. It feels like a premium product, feels like a really good bit of luggage. I'm not an expert in luggage, but first impressions are it's fantastic. It feels really, really strong, and it's really very, very comfortable. Add to that how lightweight it is for what it is. Don't get me wrong, as I've already mentioned, it's still quite heavy. It's going to be edging up towards 5 kilograms with the extra trays, and then you put your army in. But also as an adult, that sits very comfortably on my back, and it's definitely no heavier than that other case I reviewed, or stacks of really useful boxes are going to be either. So we can talk about weight, but it's irrelevant really if you're carrying that many miniatures around. So I think it comes down to really, how often are you traveling with your army? And if you are, do you want to do that with a lot of ease and a lot of comfort? And if that both those answers, yes, you're traveling a lot and you want something really nice, then it's definitely worth investing in something like this. It really is the best case I've ever owned now. That is undoubtable. Things have got close. The battle foam back in the day, the quality of the bags up there, very, very good. But in terms of the way it's made and how nice it is, those extra pockets really are excellent. There's so much space in there. I mean, I joked about putting all of those different books and things, but you would in reality not need all of those, and you'd have some of those spare. If you're going away in the summer and it's warm enough weather where you live for an event, there is enough space there that you could put a spare t-shirt, a pair of shorts, underwear, and an overnight toiletries bag in there as well, and just take that one bag. You wouldn't need a separate suitcase. I'm not recommending you do that, and maybe you want a bag with more stuff in, but you really could. There's enough space there that could be your one thing, which is, again, I think it's really fantastic. So I was really impressed by those things. So it is a wonderful bag, but at the same time it's not cheap, and you have to choose where you invest your money. But I would definitely recommend it. Thank you again so much, Olive, for sending it. It is amazing. I'm very lucky. I get things like this for doing work on the channel, so I do appreciate it at the same time, and I will be using this as my main bag moving forward. As much as I don't get to as many events as I'd like to, I do still transport my army around at least once a month, and this will definitely be used for that. And it's big enough that I can put my army and my son's army in when we go to our little trips to Warhammer World and things as well, which is, again, fantastic, and be all safe in the one box. But as always, thank you very much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you think, what you use for army transportation. Will you consider picking up one of these? Obviously, there are lots of other bags on the website. This is one of the biggest. You may not need that, but but I wanted to show you the biggest and talk you through the reasons for that, because I know a lot of you here, because of Warhammer the Old World and the content I make on that, and us Old World players require these really, really big cases. Same also with Heresy. I'm starting to get back into Heresy. If you have a lot of big tanks and you've got super heavies and things, you need a lot of space. Maybe if you play Age of Sigmar or 40k, you might not need quite as much. You can go one of the smaller bags, or as I said, easily fit 2 in. But let me know in the comments what you think. If you'd like to support me, please hit like on this video and drop a comment below, because it really helps the video be seen by other people, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Not that subscriptions always show up on your homepage these days with a new algorithm, so my message out there to all of you enjoyers of YouTube: don't just hover around your home pages, go to your subscription pages and hit up and watch your favorite channels, because they may have new videos that you have missed. If you'd like to support me even more, please do check out my Patreon. It's one of the best ways of supporting me, and there's lots of other links in there as well should you want to pick up an airbrush from Galeri, or you want to support the channel sponsor Counterattack Bases. And I will also, of course, pop a link into a case. But thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you soon.